Hello everyone, welcome to another video on our channel on Aikido Virtual Dojo. Today we'll be looking at a few ways, explorations, practices, exercises that you can use to build up a 360 degrees awareness. So like to kind of know a little bit what is happening behind your back where you don't really have eyes, you cannot see what is happening, but some situations you need to be aware what is happening behind you. So stay with us and we'll show you a few ways of increasing your awareness behind your back.
So let's take a look now at a few exercises that you can use to develop your awareness sort of 360 degrees. And the first one that I'm going to show you, that we're going to show you here, is it's very simple actually. Your partner can do this in two ways for this exercise. The first way your partner can do it is just with the eyes open. And I'm simply going to walk around. Now this seems very easy and basic, and it is, but essentially what's happening now is my partner is opening up to the sounds, the visual, if I ever cross sort of the periphery here, and he doesn't necessarily know exactly where I am all the time, but just getting a feel, okay? So he's opening up his senses, his hearing, his feeling. Okay, and I'm not doing much of anything necessarily except keeping my attention on him and moving around in the space so that his attention gets is starting to open up around him. Now he can do the same exercise with his eyes closed, and that'll really enhance like his hearing and things like that. So he has to really rely on his hearing even if I'm in front. Okay, so it really starts to become really 360 because he can't see in the front either. Yeah, and he can even sort of point exactly. If he gets a sense of where it is, then he can kind of signal a little bit. This is a way to kind of develop it. Okay? So that's the first exercise. Another way to do this is an exercise where we begin already behind our partner. And we've shown this actually in past videos, but it's a great way to develop just the awareness from the back. Okay? And I'm going to begin with a touch, just so that he knows that I'm here. And as I release the touch, I'm going to sort of keep my attention on my partner. Okay, so this is a bit more specific compared to the last exercise. Now when I come in, he's going to sort of signal whenever he feels it. Okay, so he's using his senses. I'm going to touch here so that it gives him a feedback so he knows that, okay, yeah, that was close or it wasn't close. Okay, and so you do this several times and you start to get a sense a little bit. The thing you want to be careful here is not to do robot. So not just to step back and step forward. Okay, it's a little too easy. So you want to increase the intensity by making it a little bit more dynamic with the timing. Okay. Now in the same sense, what we can do is from here, as I come in, I'm actually going to push him. Okay. And so at the beginning, you can actually just sort of let the push move you so that it gets a sense of how the actual push will actually move the body. Okay, and you can do that in different ways. And so that way, he has to feel where it's going to push him, right? So in that sense, then he can get that feeling of how that turns him. Now, from here, he's going to see if he can feel it early. So we don't have to go too fast. What we do is want to keep a nice, intense attention. So I want to bring a lot of attention to him as I'm coming in and make it very simple and clear. Okay, and if it happens to make contact, that's fine. He just moves with it. So right now he's just focusing on moving early. And he can even make contact afterwards too. That's a good way to move into a technique. Now, to enhance this really, I'm going to use a foam sword. Okay, we've actually used real wooden swords for this before. So it's the same thing. So now he really has to open up. Okay, so I'm going to come in with a Shomanuchi strike, and he wants to move with it. Okay, now it's a foam sword. I'm not going to strike too hard, so if it touches him, he just moves with it. Okay. So he's just trying to open up his awareness. You know, it may or may not work out perfectly every time, but that's okay. What we're doing is just simply developing that sense that there are things going on behind you. Okay? So these are a couple of simple ways that you can start to develop your 360 awareness, and there are many, many other ways. If you have some other ideas.
Walking.
Walking. Okay.
Yeah. So actually the idea is that both of us will be walking around the tatami, and at a certain moment the person who is following will decide to attack. Okay, so Durward will be walking this time, for example. Mm-hmm. I walk behind him, just follow him. And then I take a moment when I decide to attack and go in like with a straight, nice energy, a bit similar to punching. And this way you can even transition it going into a kind of technique, simple technique from here, just turning around or touching, or maybe a simple kokyunage. So as he walks, whenever I decide to attack, wait a moment, whenever I decide to attack, he can, depending on which foot he has in front, he can turn one way or the other and go into the kokyunage. Yeah, for example, this one or the one backwards or any other one. So there are many options also to combine this approaching from the back with transitioning into a technique. So let us know if you have some other ways of increasing your awareness behind your back, and we'll be happy to read, to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and see you again in another video.